Hello everyone. Happy Memorial Day weekend, and hope you are having fun with your family and friends and enjoying the Memorial Day weekend. And boy, what a week that we have had, right? Last week and in the market, and and we had so much fun trading because so every single day the market behaved exactly as we had called out in the room, in our trading room, and all based on financial astrology. There are several, there were two or three events that happened that week, last week, and market just followed those planners perfectly. Okay. But the biggest question that I heard last week was about Tesla. Tesla has been on the news for um, since last week, right? And Tesla, many analysts came out and lowered Tesla's price targets. So somebody even was bold enough to say that it is going down to $10 actually. So and obviously Tesla got killed, and today it was trading around like 180 $190, closed at 190.63. Yesterday it went down to 186 actually. So a lot of people ask me as what do I see in Tesla and where is Tesla heading to. And let's see if we can find an answer from a financial astrology perspective. Okay, so when we talk about financial astrology, we cannot talk about financial astrology without mentioning WD Gann. Okay, now Gann pretty much did all his trades and did a lot of seminars regarding financial astrology, and also his own findings about this square of nine. So what is a square of nine? Square of nine is basically every number, if you can square it, and that's what a square of nine is. And so if you look at this, right? So one is at the center, and then if you just start counting the numbers outward, like in a clockwise fashion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Okay, next number is 10, 10, 11. So all these numbers he marked going around spirally. This kind of represents the our solar system or galaxy, right? Everything moves in a clockwise fashion very quietly, spirally too, right? If you look at our galaxy, so that's the way he came up with this, square of nine, so representing sun at the center, so one at the center, and then numbers going spirally outward. Now, interesting thing is that if you look at these, right, and if you look at the square of a number, for example, square of let's say 3, you can see that it's 9. Square of 3 is 9, right? Next odd number is 5. So square of 5 is 25. Next odd number is 7. So square of 7 is 49. Then next one is 9. So square of 9 is 81, and so on. So you can see that all these odd numbers, square of odd numbers, fall in this line. Okay, this is, he has marked this as 315 degree. So this is the starting point, right? So that is a 0 degree. So every and if you mark these all corners and perpendiculars, right, at 45-degree angles. So if you look at 0, 45, 90, 135, 180, 225 degree, 270 degree, 315 degree, and back to 360 degree, right? So if you look at it, as I said, that square of odd numbers fall in this 315-degree line. Now, if you look at the exactly 100 diagonally opposite, 180 degree, right? We have 135 degree. So 135 degree, if you look at these numbers, there is a specialty there too. So these numbers are square of an even number plus 1. For example, square of 2. Okay, square of 2 is 4 plus 1, 5. Next even number in the number system is 4. So square of 4 is 16 plus 1 is 17. Next even number is 6, right? So square of 6 is 36 plus 1, 37, and so on. So you see square of even number plus 1 is 135 degree, and square of odd numbers are along 315 degree. Now if you add, let's say, quarter, to these numbers, so like for example 3.25, and then square it, you will get these 45-degree angles actually. Okay, so all those numbers fall along this. Okay, so that's what is called square of 9. Okay, now what is important is Gann found out that by observation that whenever a stock or price or anything in life, and approaches these numbers 315 to 135, the numbers numbered along this 315 to 135 degree, it just causes a vibration. It just exhibits certain, like vibration that causes the price to kind of vibrate a lot more. A real life example that I can give you is that, if you look at I read somewhere that most of the accidents happen at when drivers were driving at 49 miles per hour. Okay, and 65 miles per hour. Both you can see that 49 falls along this 315-degree line, and then 65 falls along 135. So most number of accidents happen around 49 miles per hour when the drivers drive. And the second one is like recorded, as per the accidents records, so you'll see that it's 65. So things like that. So you'll see anything in life, right? As they approach these numbers, they tend to vibrate a little bit, so causes some vibration. Now, the uh, uh, another important observation that Gann made was that anytime a stock, let's say, we are concerned about the stock market, right? Not accident. So let's look at stock market. So he says that whenever stock moves, breaks away from this 315 degree, let's say 49, a stock moves to 49 and then comes to the next 135-degree line, which is 65, right? And then 65, and then uh, goes in the clockwise fashion and approaches the next 315-degree number, which is 81. What happens is that by that time it has completed one, two, two cycles. Okay, so then his observation is that, so by the time it completes that two cycles, okay, now it just retraces back, so I know that most of you technical traders, you may be looking at 618 retracement, right? 61.8, but for Gann it was 50%. He says that the as the stock approaches from, like from one cycle to another and then to the next cycle, it retraces back 50%, which means that it goes back to 65. Okay, before it comes and attempts to break that 81 and then goes towards next cycle. Okay, so he calls from moving from 315 degree to 135 degree is called one cycle. Then from 135 to 315 degree is called two cycles. Okay, and then from if you manage to break that again, it's third cycle, fourth cycle, and so on. Now, based on that, he has come up with a cycle theory. So he says that most stocks, they follow along, either they complete one cycle, they just finish at one cycle, or if it breaks that one cycle means from 315 to 135, or from 135 to 315 degree. Okay, so moving from any of these 135 degree number to the next higher 315 degree number. Okay, that's one cycle. Okay, and now if it managed to break that, then it's likely to go to two cycles. And then if it managed to break that two cycles, then it goes to three cycles. Now, if it managed to break three cycles, it goes to six cycles. Okay, which means that if it breaks that three cycle, it goes to six cycles. And if it managed to break that six cycles, which means that, if it gets to seven cycle, it doesn't stop at seven, it will go to 12. So this is the way the cycle happens. So any stock, if you look at it, if it breaks, whether it moves from 315, some stocks moves from 315 degree to 135 degree numbers, or some stocks move from 135 to 315 degree. and they move. When they move, they follow these cycles, which means that they follow 1, 2, 3. If it breaks 3, it's going to go to 6, and then if it breaks 6, it's going to go to 12. If it breaks 12, it goes to 18, you know, and 24, 36, etc. Okay, so that's the way the cycle happens. Now, why is it important? Let's apply and let's look at Tesla now. Okay, so I'm going to bring a chart of Tesla here. So this is a daily chart of Tesla. So I have come up with an indicator to mark that 135 to 315 degree. Okay, these are all numbers, so that I showed you here in this spreadsheet here. All these numbers, and I have a tabular form also here. So this is basically I have marked 0 degree, 45, 90, 135, 180, 225, 270 degree, 315 degree, and 360, and I have marked yellow, right, 135 to 315, right? Now, I have made an indicator for toss, so based on these numbers actually. This is nothing but, as we know that 315 degrees odd number squared, and this is even number square plus 1. Okay, that's 135 degree line. So I have come up with this indicator. So if you go back to Tesla when it put in the all-time high, so this is where Tesla made an all-time high, right? Close to this, you can see that this is like 20 square plus 1, isn't it? Remember that even number plus 1, right? So that is 401 line. It came pretty close to that. It didn't hit perfectly, but it came pretty close to that. Then it started moving down, right? So if you start counting, if you mark this as 0, okay, so if you mark this as 0, then you will see 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it came down to 3 cycles, retraced 1. Remember that, Gann says that retraces 50%, right? So 3 cycles, retrace exactly 1 cycle. Okay, then it came down and it managed to break 3. Remember what I said? If it managed to break 3, okay, so if I can go back to this. So if it managed to break 3, it has to go to 6. So typically what happens is that it doesn't go 6 straight. It just does like a 4 cycle, So 4 cycles, okay, and then it retraces 1, 2, 3 cycles up. So if I can show you here. So from here, 1, 2, 3, retrace 1, then came down and then broke that 3rd cycle, came down to 4th cycle. See that? 4th cycle, perfect touch, then retraced 2 cycles. Remember that once it comes down to, if it breaks 3, it has to go to 6. Okay, remember that. It has to go to, and it will. There is nothing that is going to stop a stock from getting to 6 cycles. You can, I have hundreds and hundreds of examples that I can show you. Okay, and we cover this in our trading room, and explain this to my mentees too. So that is the 3rd cycle here. 3rd cycle was 288. It broke that. It came down 256. By the time it gets tired, it has to retrace. It retraced 2 cycles. Now remember that it has to go to 6. Now it made another attempt to break that 4. Couldn't. Retraced 1, 2, 3. 3 cycles up. Okay, 3 cycles up. Then it started coming down. It started coming down. If we can squeeze this, you can see it. There it is. Started coming down. Remember that this is the 4th cycle. Okay, so 315 is the 4th cycle, right? So 260, 256 was the 4th cycle. Finally it broke. Okay, broke, and then 5th cycle, not a perfect touch, came close, retraced, retested that, came down, broke 5, came down to 6, validating Gann's theory of 1, 2, 3, 6 cycle. Okay, so finally from Tesla, this is exactly what has happened in Tesla. Okay, so we knew that it's going to happen, so it's going to come right back down to complete 6 cycles. So it completed 6 cycle as of last week. Okay, now we should see a little bit of retracement from here now. Now if it breaks this, remember that if it breaks that 6 cycle, guess what happens? there is nothing that is going to stop Tesla from hitting 12th cycle, okay, which will be all the way down to, now it's going to take some time, all the way down to $65. Okay, so that is going to be the 12th cycle for Tesla if it breaks. Now it's just hovering around this, so I have marked this 50% line. If it breaks that 183, it's going to come down to $65. It's not going to come right down, so it may be a little bit of move, but we can predict. Now, what caused this? So you remember that Gann also combined his cycle theory with financial astrology. So he knew exactly what controls an equity or a commodity. Okay, there is one planet or one or more planets control every index out there in the world or every stock that's been traded in any exchange. Okay, we can easily find out that by observing. Now, remember that fourth cycle was broken on 425. 425, that is April 25th, it broke. So all we need to do is to find out what caused Tesla to break that, fourth cycle. Okay, fourth cycle. So this, so here is a chart that we make it available. We prepare that for our mentees actually in our trading room. Okay, if I can bring that up. Um, Oops. So, so let's see. Right here. Okay. So this is a chart that we make it available for our mentees. Okay. This talks about what does it show? It shows the planet's movement. There's the sign that is trading every single day. You can see that. Now this is an Indian way of marking the date. Day first, month second, and then the year. Okay, and because this is prepared by our astrologer from India. So he marks 9 planets, that just kind of determines the move in the equities, the sign, degree, and star. So these stars are basically a one or two or a cluster of stars that are adjacent to our solar system. Okay, and each star has got a load too. Okay, and then their relationship is mentioned here too. So if you look at it, so this is 9th April, Tuesday. Okay, you can see that. So as I scroll, you see these planets changing its sign and changing its degree, of course, and then changing its star and their lord. Okay, so if I advance this, you see Jupiter is highlighted here. Now, why did he highlight the Jupiter? Because Jupiter 10th, 11th 4, 11 4 2019, Jupiter got into retrograde. Okay, sometimes the planet goes into retrograde. Retrograde is a perspective that, we know that all the planets revolve around the sun, but sometimes looking at from Earth, they may appear to be going in the reverse direction actually. So you can see that from the degree here too. So if you look at it, 240 31, 240 32, see it's increasing, then it stalled at 240 32, 240 32, then it goes back. See that 240 31, this is going back in degree, right? So that's a retrograde. So Jupiter got into retrograde. That's the first thing that we need to note. Okay, so that is 12/4. Now if you keep advancing, you can see that the Mercury changed to Pisces on that day too. So he's just highlighting that. Okay, and just keep a watch of Jupiter. Okay, so let me fast forward to April 25. Remember that April 25, Tesla broke. So remember that I showed you here. So April 25, Tesla broke that fourth cycle. Okay, you're trying to find out what caused, which planet caused. You can see April 25, that is April 24, April 25. See, that is April 25. You can see that Jupiter changed its sign on that day. So Jupiter was trading. Oh, sorry, Jupiter was moving in Sagittarius, not trading. So Jupiter was moving in Sagittarius. It changed from Sagittarius to Scorpio, and it also changed its star association with these stars are like neighboring galaxy stars basically, right? So, and most of them are visible for the naked eye, but some of them are not. but they have a major impact in financial astrology or on the stock market. Now, this is something that is not the Western astronomy doesn't believe that, but Vedic astrology very clearly defines this, and I can see a major impact of whenever a planet moves through these stars. Okay, and each star has got a lord too. So Jupiter till April 24. Jupiter was in Ketu star. Ketu is the south node as per Western astronomy. Okay, and sorry, Mula star with the Ketu lord. And April 25, Jupiter got into Scorpio, changed its star, and changed its lord to Mercury. Now, there is a relationship between Jupiter and Mercury. They are enemies. They can't stand each other. Okay, so Jupiter Mercury is marked here as enemy here. Okay, which means that any stock that's controlled by either Mercury or Jupiter, some stocks are controlled by Mercury, some stocks are controlled by Jupiter, and when they come into any kind of relationship, that causes that stock to tank. Okay, and in this case, Jupiter was in retrograde. It changed its sign, changed its star, changed its lord, which is Mercury, which is enemy. That caused Tesla to tank. Okay, so if I look at this, so here, going back to Tesla chart, right here. So that is what caused Tesla to break. Okay, so Jupiter changing a star and star lord to Mercury caused Tesla to break that 4 cycle, and now Jupiter is still in retrograde. So if I show you the um, uh, the uh, current calendar, so for the month of May, so if you look at this May, okay, so you can see that, see May, Jupiter is still in, see, still highlighted. What does that mean? Still in retrograde, still in Mercury, okay, because Jupiter takes some time. Now, there is one day is going to come out of this Mercury, that enemy relationship. And that's when Tesla is going to recover. Okay. Now, we know exactly when it's going to happen. So, if you want to know when that is going to happen, when you can trade Tesla, okay, whether it's going to hit 12 cycles or if it is going to recover much before that, you can hit me up on the contact details given below. Okay, and subscribe to my channel for similar videos, and also you can inquire about a mentorship program. This is the way we trade, folks, in our room, and this is what we make it available for our mentees, and to be able to identify which stock is controlled by which planet. And if you can get this, we make this calendar available to our mentees, and all we need is this calendar. You can trade from one planet getting into a changing a sign, changing a star to the next. That's all you need to do. So if I were to, now I didn't notice this. Okay, so I was not trading Tesla. I didn't trade Tesla, but I just checked since the news came out last week. I just checked and then realized that this is what has happened. Okay, so if I were to trade, I would keep quiet. I just take a bearish position and then keep quiet until Jupiter comes out of that Mercury low. Okay, and I know exactly when it's going to happen. Okay, and that day Tesla is going to recover. So if you want to know when that is going to happen, and and if you are interested in getting this calendar, if you are interested in trading this way, please contact me and can give you the details about the mentorship program. Okay, so till the next video, talk to you later. Have fun and enjoy the Memorial Day weekend.